This is Big Bang Crypto. My name is Sam and welcome to another episode. Now, in my previous video, I've been talking about the situation when we were leaving this rising channel, and something I said was that I think it is more likely that we will come down into this daily exponential ribbon and move sideways, and at some point we will see a last pump before we see what happened in the last hours. Now, why did this happen so fast? I think a very important reason for that is that Bitcoin was moving inside of this falling channel quite too long. So normally I was talking about 21 days. At the end we had something around 40 days before Bitcoin broke this main trend line and started to move upwards inside of this rising channel. So that was a little bit too long, and considering the halving next year, Bitcoin needs some time before it can start the second wave, but the second wave always starts before the halving and is over before the halving. So this is something important, and this could be a very important reason why this is happening so fast. So when you look at it this way, now we've been coming down very fast, so this kind of sideways movement with the last pump that I was talking about in my previous video, this won't happen anymore. The days that we were too long inside of this, we have them back again, and so everything is okay when you look at it from a halving point of view, and 2 waves before the halving point of view. So this is very important. Now, something else that I mentioned in my previous video was that this yellow line plays a major role when we break through this daily exponential ribbon downwards, because I said that I think it is very, very likely that we will have our bottom somewhere on this yellow line. And I mean, when you look at this, you can see that this line really plays a role. Now, right now, we didn't touch this yellow line the way I drew it, but when you take a look at the Bitcoin futures chart, so this one is also very important for these situations, then you can see very clearly we had our last 2 lows exactly on this yellow line, and this one is again exactly on the yellow line. So this is very important, and this yellow line starts back when we fell into this valley before this first wave. And if you watch my previous video, you know this yellow line starts way back at the very beginning of the 4th wave of the last bull market. And just to show you exactly what I'm talking about, if you didn't watch my previous video, I'm talking about this yellow line. This is the first wave in 2015, and again we had this yellow line that is around the edge of this valley on the left side, and it starts at the beginning of the 4th wave of the bull market before. So this is something very important. And so what I told you, or what I tried to tell you, is that when you take a look at the 2015 wave, the first wave, very close to 1 year before the halving, what you can see is that at that time when we left this rising channel, we had this sideways movement, then this last pump, and then we had the drop that we're seeing right now, or what happened in the last hours. So this is what I'm talking about. Now this part, this is something that won't happen anymore. It's over. We didn't find support for some days inside this daily exponential ribbon. So this is what happened. So this is something that we won't see, and this is okay. Now, something that is important and that I said is that I think the altcoin pump is very, very close. It will start a little bit slowly, but then at some point no one can believe what we're seeing, because there will be crazy gains. And in the Discord channel, some of you asked, all right, so when should we sell the altcoins to have our first profit? Now, this is a very difficult question because it depends on the altcoins that you buy. So, for example, for Cardano or NEM, I think that it is very likely that at some point we will see 200%, 300%, and then this is the first time that we should sell. So something around 3x of the current price, and then to sell. So when you look at what is going on right now with NEM, for example, what you can see is, now this is the daily chart, and what you can see is NEM it's a crazy drop. I mean, this is the lowest point it has ever been. Well, before this last bull market, but I mean in the last months, this is the lowest point it has been, and now it came very close to that, and it found support on this blue line. So this is a very, very important support level for NEM, and I don't think it will fall much lower than that. The only thing that could happen is coming down to test this low again, but I mean, look at that. This is nearly 5 cents. So this is such a great entry point for NEM. And I think NEM is one of those coins that will make 3x very fast. All right. So going up to 15 cents is no problem for NEM when the altcoin pump starts. So this is, for me, this could be a sign that or this would be the first time I would sell NEM till I have a nice correction and buy back. Or when you take a look at Cardano, what you can see is so this is the lowest point after the last bull market, and it came down, and it looks very similar to what NEM is doing, and so right now it finds support inside of this zone. That makes a lot of sense because there is a lot of price movement, and I mean, something that could happen is coming down to test this low. I mean, again, this would be a very nice entry point, but I don't know if this will happen. I don't know. I don't expect that to happen because we had a nice correction in the last hours. Maybe there is a second correction, but that is not for sure. I can guarantee that. So I'm already in. I bought everything that I want. I'm not waiting for another drop. If it happens, okay, but this is the same scenario when we were talking about the third low of Bitcoin around $9,050. When I said I'm not going to buy or I'm not going to catch the bottom, I will be around it, and that is absolutely okay for me. And after, I mean, I think I had my last or my smallest order was around $9,100, and it went up to $12,000. So this is enough. So I don't care if it was 9,000 or 9,300. This is not important because the gains were really nice, and this is exactly what will happen. So Cardano is also one of those coins where I think 15 cents is no problem. I mean, when you take a look at that, so this was in May. In May it was around 10 cents. All right, so it's not a problem for Cardano to come back very fast, and so going up to 15 cents, and when it breaks this resistance level, and I talked a lot about this huge head and shoulders reversal, then I think that Cardano can make really huge gains in during this altcoin pump. And something else that I want to show you so that you can get an idea. I always take Ethereum because back in 2015 it was a very small altcoin, so we can compare its price movements a little bit to what will happen to the good altcoins that are smaller. So this is the first wave of the last bull market started at the end of 2015, so it was around this time, so December 2015, we had Ethereum around 87 cents, and I mean 87 cents, and then the first pump, this is the first pump during the altcoin pump, then it went up to $2.70, then it had this correction. This is what I'm talking about. So making 3x or so is not a problem. And then a little correction. Then we had the second pump moving up to $6. Again, a correction moving up to $5.90. Another correction. And at the end, it was around $14. All right. And this is exactly, I think, 2 months before the second wave, or 3 months before the second wave of that bull market. And then it had this correction because the Bitcoin dominance was getting bigger and bigger, and the altcoins started to bleed. And yeah, so this is what I expect. And you will, I mean, when you see days when the price is making 3x, 4x, 5x, you know you have to sell because it will come down at some point before it can move higher. All right. And this is exactly what I expect of Cardano or NEM or IOTA or these kind of coins, because they had a really hard drop, and the people will get in when they understand that this could make really high gains. So like I said, for me, everything is okay. I'm not nervous because of this drop. And what I also wanted to say is, maybe, I don't think so, but maybe if you're hoping or asking yourself, is it possible that we fall below this yellow line? I mean, of course it is possible, but look what happened after we came close to it. We had a nice pump. And but if we should fall below it, the deepest or the lowest point for me is 8.5k. All right, and the only reason for that is this one gap. This could be a reason, but I don't think that this will happen. What is more likely for me, something I posted in the Discord channel, is that the people will be asking themselves, all right, what is Bitcoin's next move, as long it is in these price levels. And then they will see, all right, now what should I do? The altcoins are pumping, but Bitcoin could fall, and so they will miss this great opportunities, this great entry points, and we're never going to see these entry points again. This will be the last time, I'm very sure of that. And so what I want to say is, all right, maybe Bitcoin goes down to $8,500. It will come back very fast, and the altcoins will start to pump in the next days. I'm absolutely sure about that. It will start slowly, so making 10%, 20%, and all of a sudden you see 30, 50%, things like that. This is what I expect. If I see signs that something is wrong and this won't happen, I will tell you. But like I said, I bought everything I wanted. I'm not waiting for a second drop or anything like that by the altcoins. And I think Bitcoin will start to move sideways a little bit higher, coming up to this exponential ribbon and trying to test it, or will test it, and will get rejected. And at some point it will break through this daily exponential ribbon and move sideways, but up with an upwards movement, so slowly to the next wave before we see suddenly a big green candle. like we've seen at the beginning of this wave. So something like that, Suddenly everybody understands, oh, the situation is changing. Bitcoin is starting to move higher. Right? And what I also think is when you're only trading Bitcoin, I would wait for $11,500 and then sell, because I don't think that it will move above this blue line in the next weeks and months. I don't think so. And this makes a lot of sense to me, considering the historical price movements. Yeah, so that's it. And yeah, so if you didn't buy the altcoins right now, well, you should really ask yourself if this is a good decision, because, like I said, this will be the last time you see these prices, in my opinion. And maybe you get better prices when you wait for another drop, maybe. But you know what happens to people that are waiting for the perfect time. At the end, they will miss it. And so, yeah, make your decisions fast, because I think the altcoins will start to pump very, very soon. So I'm not saying tomorrow, but it will happen definitely in the next days, maybe beginning at the weekend or something like that, or beginning of next week. It will start, I'm sure of that. It can come very fast, like this drop. Like this drop, all right. So everybody was thinking about, okay, will it happen, or will it go up to 15,000, like Goldman Sachs said, and then all of a sudden it's too late. All right, thank you very much for your attention. Please leave a like when you like this content, and thank you very much for everything you're doing for this channel and everything you post in the Discord channel. I love it. And yeah, have a nice day.